We've got some serious movement happening in the Cowboys. I mean, there's a big name from Green Bay about to join our defensive coaching staff. Plus, I'm breaking down what this means for the whole rebuild we're seeing unfold right now. What's up, Cowboys? Welcome to the NFL Playbook. Cowboys, if you're new here, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. This channel is all about breaking down everything you need to know about the America's team. All right, so the news just dropped that we're expecting to hire the Packers defensive passing game coordinator, Derrick Ansley. Now, I know some of you might be thinking, who is this guy? Let me break it down for you, because honestly, this is exactly the kind of move we need to be making right now. The Packers had the 13th ranked defense last season, right? And Derrick was the guy who constructed their passing game coordination. Like, he was basically making sure everybody's in the right spot, in the right positioning out there on the field. That's not nothing, you know what I'm saying? We're talking about a guy who knows how to organize a defensive backfield and get the most out of his players. But here's the thing. The coaching staff isn't completely assembled yet. We still need a linebacker coach, and we're still going back and forth on the D-line coach. They brought in someone else new today, and I mean, it's all part of this process. The front office said they were going to cast out a wide net, not a small net or short net, but a wide net, and there are ramifications for that approach. Look, we've been starving for the last 2 seasons. We haven't even been in the postseason, right? So with that being said, we need to get better and bigger in every situation and category. I mean, how can we not want to improve on what we've been doing? Now, the in-person interviews are happening. We've got Christian Parker interviewing defensive staff today. There's the Steelers' outside linebacker coach, or former outside linebacker coach, I should say. Denzel Martin, who's the Eagles' assistant linebacker coach, he's also having an interview, and Ronnell Williams is in the mix too. Then on Sunday, they're interviewing the USC run game coordinator, Eric Henderson. He also worked with the Rams prior to that. You know what I always say? A tree is known by the fruit it bears. And what I'm seeing with Christian Parker and his approach is this. Let's pick and pull from all of the teams that have had strong defenses in the last 4 or 5 years. Let me continue to scrape and see if I can grab guys that are on those staffs who are familiar with my coaching philosophy. And these are not one-offs. Like, most of these guys are former coordinators themselves or have been well spoken about in certain rooms. That's the kind of thing I like seeing, especially as it relates to us being able to do that. Now, of course, we lose a little bit in this transition, right? We lose out on some guys like Lunda Wells on the offensive side, and I think Aaron Whitecotton is gone too. Some of you guys are probably like, hey man, that Cotton didn't bring us no luck anyway, so it's a good loss, honestly. But here's where it gets interesting. There's this guy, Zack Orr, who I think is really intriguing if we can get him on this staff. He has defensive coordinator experience, and he could help Parker in the day-to-day operations. This is a guy that's done it. He's also young, and he's had his ups and downs in doing so, but from what I read, he's a locker room guy. The players loved Zack Orr. It wasn't like they didn't like him or anything like that. Their defense just didn't work out the way they wanted it to in Baltimore. Now, let me pause right here. I don't know a soul in our world who's saying, man, I don't want the 15th ranked defense. Bring me back Matt Eberflus in them. No, 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 no. As much as Ravens fans were talking bad about Zack Orr, we'd be like, hey, let us get him, man. You know where his approach did work? The run defense in Baltimore was among the best over the last 2 years. Pass defense, not so much. But with Parker and Ryan Smith's forte being able to man that middle from the run game standpoint, pairing with potentially a guy like Marcus Dixon, who coached with Christian Parker, I think you should feel good about the direction we're heading. I'm seeing people talk about Ryan Smith, and honestly, regardless of anything else, can he coach and can he teach these guys? That's what I'm looking for. That's all I'm saying. We need coaches who can develop talent and put our players in position to succeed. Here's what I'm really excited about. We're building something different here. For 30 years, 30 seasons, we've been looking for balance. I know we haven't played a down of football yet, but I'm looking for that balance. Sometimes you can see what the food is going to look like just by its preparation. You start smelling things, and you start saying to yourself, man, I don't know what they're cooking in there, but I know it's going to taste good just by the smell of the food. I'm looking for quality, not quantity. And the quality states that if you measure right, like those contractors who are cutting and measuring things, they say measure twice, cut once to be accurate with it. Let's not go in here blindly cutting, but let's mix it up the best way possible.
This whole process tells me something important. We're not just throwing darts at a board and hoping something sticks. We're being strategic. We're looking at successful defenses from around the league and saying who's responsible for that success, who's coaching those positions, who's developing those schemes, and then we're going after those guys. Think about it. We're pulling from the Packers, from the Steelers, from the Eagles, from the Rams, from USC. These are programs and organizations that have had defensive success recently. That's not a coincidence. That's a plan. That's Christian Parker using his network and his knowledge of the league to assemble the best possible staff. And you know what? I respect that approach. I respect the fact that we're taking our time, that we're interviewing multiple candidates for each position, that we're not just promoting from within or hiring the first guy who shows interest. We're doing our due diligence. Now, some people might say, well, these guys haven't all been super successful everywhere they've been. And you know what? That's fair. But here's the thing. Not every coach is going to succeed in every situation. Fit matters. Culture matters. Having the right pieces around you matters. What we're seeing is a complete overhaul of our defensive philosophy and our defensive coaching staff. And honestly, it's about time. We've been too predictable, too easy to game plan against. We need fresh ideas, fresh energy, fresh perspectives. And that's exactly what we're getting with these hires. The fact that Derrick Ansley is coming from Green Bay tells me we're serious about fixing our secondary. We've had issues in coverage for too long. We need someone who understands modern passing offenses, who knows how to disguise coverages, who can develop young defensive backs. And from what I'm hearing, that's exactly what Ansley brings to the table. We're not just hiring names. We're building a comprehensive defensive staff that complements each other, that can work together, that shares a vision for what this defense can be. And with the talent we have on that side of the ball, with the right coaching and the right scheme, there's no reason we can't have a top 10 defense next season. So yeah, Derrick Ansley is coming. More hires are coming. The rebuild is happening right before our eyes. And honestly, for the first time in a while, I feel like we're moving in the right direction. We're being smart, we're being patient, and we're building something that can last. That's what it's all about.